Hi, I'm Dan Newberger. I'm running for Board of Education here in Howard County. Let's talk about school safety and SROs. Rather than just ask, should we have school resource officers in our schools or not? I think the right question to start with is, how do we best keep our children and our staff safe in our schools? I want to be very clear that I do not support pulling the SROs out and replacing them with nothing. As we saw with the middle schools last year, removing the SROs without proper planning and a replacement plan ready led to some really detrimental outcomes for some of our schools. For a lot of parents, the driving issue behind wanting SROs in place is the risk of a school shooting, and this is the nightmare scenario for all of us. Here I believe we need to turn to the experts. The National Threat Assessment Center in the Department of Homeland Security is the nation's leading research center on how to keep schools safe from violence, especially school shootings. And it's run by one of the world's leading law enforcement organizations, the United States Secret Service. Notably, employing SROs is not one of the Secret Service's recommendations. Instead, their recommendations really focus on building up the district's capability for preventing school shootings, especially by using a comprehensive risk assessment model in every school. The Secret Service also recommends complementing the threat assessment model with the physical safety measures that are appropriate for the school and for the community. And here, the Secret Service acknowledges what the national and local data and research tells us, which is that having police officers working in our schools leads to disproportionately negative outcomes for certain populations of students, namely students of color, students with disabilities, and LGBTQ students. I would like to see a careful, phased transition from SROs to employing security staff who are directly managed and employed by HCPSS, and who are really experts in dealing with children and adolescents. They need to be experts in the latest techniques of de-escalation and neuroscience and restorative practices. The safety of our students is too critical for us to try to manage indirectly through a memorandum of understanding. There needs to be direct management and control and accountability by the district. Every adult who works in our buildings needs to bring a child-centered, educator focus to their work every day. For the same reason, I support us taking a really hard look at how to bring the bus drivers back in-house, because the folks who drive our kids to and from school every day play a major role in their safety and well-being in education, and that function needs to be directly managed by HCPSS. We simply can't leave a vacuum where the safety and security of our staff and our students is concerned. Instead, we need a thoughtful, careful, phased transition from SROs to HCPSS employees after we thoroughly design the new system and run pilot programs to make sure it's going to work. And I don't have time to go too in-depth on this point, but I'm convinced that we can do this transition in a way that's fairly cost neutral to the county budget. If you want to geek out with me on the details, we can talk about that offline. As a board member, I will be a relentless advocate for HCPSS to fully embrace and fully fund all of the right measures that keep our kids and our staff safe from violence in our schools. My name is Dan Newberger. If you have questions or concerns about where I stand on this critical issue, please reach out and let's talk.